Because this is the way of shaitan. He flows in the blood of human beings. When the Prophet was with his wife Safiya radiallahu anha, and he's walking with her out of the masjid when he was in a state of i'tikaf, and some companions, they saw them and they started to say subhanallah, and who is this with the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? And he said, be at your rest, this is my wife Safiya. This was the companions who had this feeling, and he said, verily, they said, we didn't think anything bad of you. And he said, verily, shaitan flows in the human being just like blood flows in human beings. So society knows that you are married. So these brothers, I've met brothers who have been married for 4 or 5 years, and they haven't told their families. Because of dire need, I had to get married, I got married, my family doesn't know. I'm keeping it a secret, and when the time is right, I let them know. When you have 5 or 6 kids, what will your parents think of you? What will your parents think of you, oh sister? What type of daughter have you raised up? What did I say to Maryam alayhi salam? What did I accuse her of? Because there's no evidence to state that she was married. قالت يا ليتني مت قبل هذا. If only death came upon me before this, because of the pangs, the pains of childbirth. But she couldn't stand the torment that they were saying to her. فأشارت إلي. She pointed to the babe. قال إني عبد الله. And he said, Isa ibn Maryam, إني عبد الله. I am the servant of Allah. That was a miracle that had to be given to Isa ibn Maryam to take away the misconceptions, the bad things that they were saying to Maryam. The baby had to talk. That was one of the miracles, to let the people know that Maryam alayhi salam did not commit any type of illicit behavior. So likewise in our society, there is concept of hidden marriages. Going to the imam of the masajid, travelling all the way to Birmingham, Manchester, and the imam reads the nikah for 100 or 150 pounds. These imams should be advised. Anybody walks through your door, where cousins, where family, read this nikah. Go back to your own fiqh. Go back to your own understanding. La nikah biduni wali. No marriage without a guardian. Person comes to you to marry, go in the other room, take their number, ring their family and say so and so is here, they want to perform this nikah. Is it acceptable? Don't turn a blind eye. That is the role of the imam. Many people have even approached myself and said, read my nikah. Are your parents happy? No. So don't talk to me. Are your family content? Don't discuss it with me. But I need to get married, I need to do it. So go and find someone else. I'm not going to take no money, and I'm not going to invite you to somebody else to go and do it. But I can go to Manchester and the imam, they will read it. But good luck to the imam on the day of judgment. This is amana. This is trust. This is a trust which has been placed upon your shoulders. And you have to fulfill that trust. To earn a quick buck is what our imams have become famous for. They have a list. £200, Aqdul Nikah. £300, Salatul Janaza. £500, Khatam Yawmul Khamis. The reading of the Khatam on the day of Thursday. And if you catch me outside my hours, it's double money. This is a fact. Let anyone contend with that. This is a fact how these people operate. You take from the wealth which is sufficient for you. As for these extra social services, you should offer them to society. If they give you something of their goodwill, that's good enough. But to be adamant that these are the set rules and the guidelines, and this is the behavior, has become famous in our society. This has become famous in our society, that this is the way. So if the imams are behaving in this manner, how do you expect the masses of people to behave? Of course the masses of the people are going to go and find anyone and go to this imam and say, read my nikah. Because the imam is relaxed, the people are relaxed. If the imam is stringent, not to mean that you cause hardship, but the imam is strict upon the teaching and trying to advise people and tell them good things to do, then the people will become strict in their approach as well, to make sure they carry out the correct checks. So we find that finally some of the rights that I will mention about the rights of the wife and the rights of the husband, or finally I think I won't touch upon that, because once again I may be going out of the topic, as I have a bad habit to do that. I want to conclude upon a famous hadith, a very famous hadith in Kitab al-Nikah, ما رواه Imam Bukhari, باب حسن المعاشرة مع الأهل, to be good towards one's family, narrated by Aisha radiallahu anha. Many of the brothers are smiling straight away at this famous hadith. But some of it may be against you, ya ikhwan. 11 women who sat down and decided not to conceal anything about the news of their husbands. And this is before, pre-Islam. 11 women sat down and decided to talk about their husbands. That's what women love to do, gossip. Even today in our society, unfortunately, we find that this gossip is widespread about the men in their house, etc. So we find that the first woman, she says, my husband is a meat of a lean, weak camel, which is kept on the top of a mountain, which is neither easy to climb, nor is the meat fat, so that one might put up with the trouble of fetching it. And the ulama shurrah al-hadith, they explain this hadith, they say that the first man is badly behaved, worthless, arrogant and miserly. That he's worthless, that this piece of lean meat just put on top of a mountain doesn't mean no value. That's the meaning of what she wanted to convey to her friends about her husband. The second one said, I shall not relate, for I fear I may not be able to finish his story of all of his defects and traits. So I'm not going to say anything. I'd rather remain quiet and not say anything. The third one said, my husband is a tall man. If I describe him and he hears of that, he will divorce me. And if I keep quiet, he will neither divorce me nor treat me as a wife. So if I say something about him, he'll divorce me because he'll feel that she's trying to say something about him. The fourth man has been praised. He's a moderate person like the night of Tihama, which is neither hot or cold. I am neither afraid of him nor am I discontented with him. The fifth man, he enters kal-fahad, wa idha kharaj kal-asad. If he enters, he's like a leopard, and if he leaves, he's like a lion. And the sifat of the fahad is, it's shy and harmless and sleepy. So when he comes in the house, he just lies there and he's sleeping most of the time. Wa idha kharaj asad. But if he goes out, he's like a lion. That's my husband. Number 6, he eats too much. And when he drinks, he doesn't leave anything. Doesn't leave nothing. He sleeps, and when he sleeps alone. And does not stretch his hands here and there. Because sometimes a woman wants a man to stretch her hands here and there and just touch her. A good sense of feeling. But when he eats all on his own. He drinks everything. And when he sleeps all on his own. As for the 7th man, he is a wrongdoer or weak and foolish. He might injure your head or your body or do both. That he just gets overtaken by his emotions and he'll harm the woman. As for the 8th person, he is soft to touch like kal-arnab, like a rabbit. And he smells kal-zarnab, and he smells like a sweet grass, is my husband. The 9th man, that he is tall, generous man wearing a long strap for carrying his sword, his ashes are abundant, and he lives close to the people. And number 10, my husband is Malik. And what is Malik? And what will explain to you who is Malik? That most of the camels, when they come, they are kept at home. When they hear the flute being played, they know they're about to be slaughtered for the guests that are coming. And then finally, the 11th man, Abu Dhar. And what will explain to you who is Abu Dhar? He has made the ornaments have become so loaded on my ears that my earlobes are hanging down because of gold he has given me. The bangles that he has given me. And he found me in a state of poverty. And he gave me all of the riches that I needed. And his mother has got bags of provision. And the son is well off and generous. And the daughter is fat and well built. And people are jealous of her. And a slave girl does not conceal or reveal the secrets. However, what happened? What did Abu Dhar go and do? That one day he saw a woman sitting there, and the 2 children were playing with a certain part of the body of the woman, and then he was taken back by that. So he divorced her and he married this other woman. So we find that this is the nature of man. And the Prophet stated, "Kuntu laki ka Abi Zar'in li Zar." And I am like Abu Dhar, or Abu Zar, that I've given you everything that you needed. Everything that you have needed, I've given it to you, fulfilled all of your needs. However, when I was reading this hadith, I began to think that at some point my deficiency in understanding doesn't make sense. Why is the Prophet stating that I am like you, like Abu Zar was? Because he went and he divorced her. And in another narration, Marahu Imam Nasa'i, he mentioned these words, "Illa anni la utalliquki," except that I won't divorce you. I've given you everything, but I'm not going to divorce you like Abu Zar done. He saw another woman and he divorced her. And with that we bring it to a close. Our brother mentioned talking about viewing a woman, seeing more hands, etc. I did touch upon that. I did touch upon the walima. If you want me to mention more, I think maybe you're in more need of this. That's why you keep on emphasizing this point. I mean, I'm sure I touched upon viewing, what to view, what not to view. Do you want